What's going on, y'all? It's Julius, and I'm back today with another video for dating with mental illness. Shit's crazy, so let's just dive right on in. So I think the last thing I had talked to y'all about, or at least the last thing I had updated y'all on, was that I was seeing somebody new. Not really an update there. I'm still seeing somebody new-ish. It's going pretty good, no problems there. The only thing is that, like, how do you / when do you talk about all the issues that you have to somebody that's new in your life and you're dating them? As in, I met this person in September, but we started seriously talking in November, and they caught me at a very good time. I was stable as fuck in November, nothing was happening to me mood-wise, my bipolar was under control, my eating disorder was under control, everything was looking great. Then the holidays happened. Things didn't really go. That was actually like this time last year. This time last year I was so depressed and so sad. No, but honestly, it's like, okay, they met me. It's as though, like, I know this isn't true, but it kind of is true. But at the same time, it's not like we're official or we're together. So it's not like I owe them anything. Let me just tell y'all what the fuck I'm talking about instead of dancing around the issue with my anxiety. When do you tell them about you're crazy? Because I feel as though I've misled them. Not misled them, that's the wrong word. But you know, it's like you meet somebody, no matter who it is, and then all of a sudden you talk to them for a little while. We've been talking, you know, like I said, I've known them since September, but we've been talking since November, seriously, and it's like, if I just unload all of this on them, they're gonna be like, what the fuck, you're insane. Because like we are. Jokes, kind of. But no, I mean, it's gotten to the point where like, I am not in crisis. No crisis has happened. Nothing like huge, changing, life-changing. Nothing like that has happened. Thank God. Knock on wood. But seriously, I guess an example would be that like last week or 2 weeks ago, you know, I was going through some mania through the holidays into the new year, and a big question came up, like, how do you not sleep? Because I went a while without sleeping, and not only are they like, you should get some sleep, they're like, how the hell are you able to just not get sleep? That's not normal. So it's like, oh yeah, it's just like a thing. I just don't sleep. Like, I'm one of those people. But then after the third day, not saying that anyone should be doing this, I definitely shouldn't. But after the third day, it's like, are you like, what's wrong? Are you okay? On top of that, I guess it's like the trauma piece, like me living with developmental trauma disorder, having like childhood trauma that's literally related around attachment. You know, this person hasn't met the crazy Jules who kind of, you know, thinks that if someone doesn't text them back, or if someone cancels plans, or if something along those lines leads to Julius being let down, and not let down like in reality. I think that if anyone cancels plans that you were eager to do, or if anyone changes plans that you were eager to do, anybody's gonna feel like, oh, that sucks, but like, that's a normal feeling. I, on the other hand, which I have learned, and I've done a good job this time, but I, on the other hand, go to immediately like, oh, this person is not feeling me anymore. This person hates me. They're about to abandon me. They're about to leave. Like, all of that. It's not funny. But no, it was around like Black Friday, and this person who I'm talking to works in retail, and they were acting a little distant, and it makes sense because it's around Black Friday, it's the holiday season. Like this whole past 2 months, like those folks in that industry have been insanely busy. And my immediate thought was, of course, selfish and not being like, oh, let me think about this person. It was like, this person is done with me. Like, they're leaving me, it's over. I think I went to my friend and I was like, they're pre-breaking up with me, like we're not together, so they can't really break up with me, but like they're gonna, you know, they're doing it. And I was just like freaking the fuck out. Now normally I would have freaked the fuck out in front of the person I was seeing, as in either acted like passive aggressive, or either acting like, you know, I don't care if they won't, like, don't talk to me, I'm not gonna talk to them, and I'm gonna just go see like a whole bunch of other hoes. What else would I do? I would just like act not mature in terms of knowing that people have schedules, people are busy, and that just because the last 3 weeks or last 2 weeks of you talking to somebody who you've been talking to for a decent amount of time and you want to continue talking to in the future, just because there's some like gap in like talk, just like that doesn't mean what it means. And if you think that's what it means, then talk to them about it and ask them instead of freaking the fuck out. But like beyond even that, I think my trauma specifically, because it's all related to abandonment and feeling abandoned and being abandoned literally when I was a kid by the people who like were supposed to be there for me the most, my mother and father, just family members in general. That feeling of abandonment comes up every single time I feel as though someone is leaving, someone is not like feeling the same vibes as I am. When the dynamic is off in that way, I immediately, my brain at least, like I don't logically go back to this era or like this place, because I'm older now and I've grown to understand that. But the trauma hasn't understood that. The trauma has no idea. So like, if I'm texting somebody, like if I'm texting this love interest, like this new love interest of mine, if I'm texting them and they don't talk to me or whatever for like a day, if they just don't respond to my text message, or if like they don't give me the same energy, my mind subconsciously, or whatever it is, the trauma piece of it goes back to those times when I was abandoned as a kid, and I immediately feel like I'm being abandoned. Not necessarily by that person, but yes, I feel like I'm being abandoned by that person, but like the emotional freaking intensity of it goes back to like, oh no, my mom is like abandoning me. Which is like why I've learned throughout the years that like, why am I getting so upset about not like getting a text back? Like, I would think the whole entire world is over. And like, yes, sometimes, you know, you're upset by that, but like, I don't really care at the end of the day. Or like, why do I, it was just a very weird, like in terms of me feeling, the feelings weren't matching up. Like, they did this, I'm like acting like as though they killed my grandma. Like, what? But no, and I think that goes back to a lot of my last relationship that I was in that ended this time last year. There's two things there I want to say. Number one is that when I was with them, I think a big toxic part of it, or a big toxic piece of it, was I was given like no alone time and no time like for myself, in the sense, or like if I was busy, they didn't understand that like I was busy. I think I one time even said to them, you know, we don't have to see each other every week, or, you know, we don't have to, like, I don't have to spend the night at least once a week. It can be, you know, 2 weeks and then I come over if I'm busy. Like, not necessarily setting a quota, which they obviously, I guess they, not obviously, y'all don't know, but they took that, ran with it, and like, we're like, you were setting a quota. Why are you setting a quota for when we're hanging out? And it's like, no, like, bitch, I'm just trying, I mean, no, let's not say that. No, I'm not trying to set a quota. It's just that, you know, I'm trying to get you to understand that some days I'm busy and some weeks I'm busy and some weeks are just completely insane, and it adds another stressor. It adds another thing to do, to then like have to go see you, or have to, because they didn't live near me, have to drive 20 minutes, see you, and then like spend the night, and then have to be back at my place before 7 a.m. when I have to be at work, blah, blah, blah. That was just a lot. And I was trying to tell them like, some weeks that might not happen, because it's adding something else to my plate, and that's just making me more stressed out. That's adding to the stress. It's just one more thing to do. So clearly that was not okay. They got very upset about that, and it was a whole thing, and they never let it go. The second thing about that person, or what I tried to do in my last relationship, was tell them everything. Like, I thought that it was better if I just kind of disclosed everything that was on my mind, disclosed everything that was my past, kind of just like made my disorders, not their disorders, but acted as though, you know, a brand new relationship was a 2-year-old, like, developing still relationship. Like, we didn't have, like, we went into the relationship with them knowing everything about me, all the good, all the bad, all the crazy, like, all of that. So it just was not good. It was like a fucking backfired. Don't tell them everything. And everyone always tells me this, but like, I always thought it was better for people to know why you're doing something or why you're acting a certain way, rather than you just acting that certain way. Because for the longest, you know, I couldn't control my impulses. So if, you know, December was a little weird in terms of me seeing this new person, and I didn't see them a lot, or I didn't text them a lot, but I noticed that they were able to do other things that weren't necessarily with me, or they were able to do other things in their lives, but they didn't make priority seeing, oh, like whatever it was, whatever my mind conjured up, I would take that and I wouldn't be able to control it, and I would just kind of go off on them, or I would act passive aggressive, or I would do something that would kind of ruin what we had going here. I would act childish. So in order to avoid that, or at least avoid like that person being like, what the fuck, I would tell them about it. I'd be like, hey, I have this trauma from my childhood about people abandoning me, and I would tell them all the trauma abandoning me part, and then what And then like, I guess they would then know, like, okay, if I don't text him back, blah, 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 or like if I say it this way, he's very hypersensitive to like the language I'm using. He's very hypersensitive to all of this. So like if I am about to be not talking to him for a while, or I have to like work throughout the day, or if it's a busy week, let me just preface by saying like, hey, I have a busy week this week. Let's try to come up with some times to hang out, like specifically, but it doesn't mean that, you know, I'm mad with you. It doesn't mean that like I'm annoyed with you. It doesn't mean that like I'm not feeling this anymore, whatever it was. It sounds like a good idea, right? No, it wasn't. It was terrible. It was bad. Not only was my disorders used against me in the sense that every time I was experiencing like a symptom or something was going on, it'd be like, well, are you sure it's not this? And it's like, no, bitch. Like low-key it is, but like, shut up. No, half the time it really wasn't those things, but it just became, like everything became my fault in a sense, or not just my fault, but it did not work out in the way that I wanted it to work out. And you know, that's all I'm gonna say about that, because I hate talking about old shit and bringing old shit up. So like, the new stuff. That's kind of where I am with this person, in the sense that they know that I have bipolar disorder. They know that I have these mental illnesses. Like anybody who follows me on social media like knows that. So essentially they know like the surface level things, like, okay, he has some issues, he's dealt with some of those issues, but like I'm still dealing with those issues, and there's still like, I have a disability, and I'm living with a disability. I'm living with several disabilities, and they do hinder my life. So like, when do you tell somebody about that? How do you tell somebody about that? When? Like how, when? I don't know. Both of those questions, because like I want to tell them that like, hey, okay, I'm gonna say this real fast and then I'm gonna move on because I'm afraid to saying it. I don't know why. I think either I'm afraid of saying it because my anxiety will be woken up, or I'm afraid of saying it because this is the internet. Regardless, I say a lot of other shit on here that's 10 times worse than this. But we had a conversation a few weeks ago, or like last week really, and they were saying, basically like, I love what we've been doing, it's cool, like I want to continue down this road, I would love to continue seeing you, I just don't think I'm ready for a 100% full-time relationship. But like, I hope that's okay with you, because I could see one in the future, but like taking things slow. And I thought about that. I looked at the text message and initially was like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, why would you, like, why would you need to say that? Like, everything was fine. There was no fights. We didn't even have that conversation. Like, we've never had a fight, like a real fight. We've never, like, that day for it to happen that day, like, nothing was the wrong, nothing was the matter. I think that they were stressed out about work, and maybe like stressed out by the fact that they weren't seeing me as much, because we had been seeing each other basically every other day up until then. And then like didn't see each other at all last week until this weekend, which is fine, it's fine. My last relationship would have taught me that that's a problem, but it's fine. But they said this, and my mind was like, okay, why would you feel the need to say this? Because I wasn't questioning that, we weren't talking about that at all. So the first thing I jumped to was like, okay, you wouldn't have said this if like for a reason. I feel like you would have said it because you want to now act different, if that makes sense. Because yes, we're not like officially in a relationship or whatever, but why does that have to be defined? Like, you only put those boundaries up, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm still single, just so you know, like, technically I'm single. You only put those boundaries up when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, or not shouldn't be doing, but when you're doing some fuck shit, or if you want to be doing some fuck shit, just so that later, if I were to say something like, hey, blah, 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 you could be like, no, remember when I told you we weren't together officially? Yeah. That's like the reasoning for it. That's what my mind went to. So at first I was like, this bitch. But then, then I got to the point where I was like, okay, are they saying this because they want to slow down what we're doing? And then I got sad, like the attachment piece came on. I was like, okay, they're about to leave, they're about to dip out, like put your guards up, because this is not gonna be pretty. And I like got into the space of wanting to be like, okay, if that's how you feel, like that's fine with me. And then like not talk to them for a week. And we did talk a little bit, but we were just both very, very busy. So we actually didn't really talk at all this week, but not because of that. But I wanted to be petty essentially, because I was like, I don't need you, I don't like you like that anyway. And that's sort of the attachment issues coming in there for self-defense. Like that self-defense mechanism of being like, if you're about to leave me, I'm gonna leave you first, bitch. Like, it's not gonna be me on the side of the street looking dumb. So, you know, in my past relationships, I would have told the person I was dating, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I know it's not logically, like, correct for me to feel this way. Like, I know it's not logically for me to get all passive-aggressive, but I don't want to get passive-aggressive, so I'm just going to let you know how that made me feel. That seems pretty, like, healthy, right? No. So we didn't do that this time because like then they'd know that we have attachment issues. They'd walk on eggshells around us. Like they'd be wondering like, what the fuck does that even mean? Why would he be angry about that? Like a whole bunch of questions would be opened. At the same time, when I didn't do that, another part of me got really weird about them saying that because I was like, relationship? Hold up. Who said anything about a relationship? Because again, we had not talked about it. And I actually, not only did I feel like I was about to get abandoned, but I also got like cold feet in a sense. Like, whoa, pump the brakes, bro. I don't think I'm ready for a relationship. And that's weird because I think that I've been wanting one or like wanting one. And I think that was the problem beforehand, is that I was trying to replace my old one, and that's not healthy. And then with this new person, I've been talking about how I want to make something new and something completely new and better for me and healthier, which is good. But as soon as they said relationship, I was like, you're right. I don't want to be in a relationship, like officially, I am not ready. So I don't think either of us are ready. But that's something I didn't realize until they said it. And then I was like, you're talking about relationships now. That's weird. So I don't know, I just did a lot of self-thought. I couldn't get mad or passive aggressive about them not wanting it. And then I couldn't act distant because I was acting weird. I didn't do any of that. Regardless, the point of the story is that I did not act weird at all. I kind of just held in my emotions and processed them myself, which was fine, I guess, but it's not always gonna work, at least in my past experience. That's not always gonna work. Sometimes they're gonna come out, they're gonna seep through, like either in my Instagram stories or like, subtweeting or like some passive aggressive petty shit. It's gonna come out and they're not gonna know why. And you might think just like, why don't you just control it like you did? And it's because sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. Like this mouth, sometimes shit just comes out. Or like sometimes I just do things and I'm literally the meme that's like, should I send this petty ass text or should I send this toxic text? Yes or no? And then does it anyway. Like, that's me. I don't want to be that person. And I would love for them to know like these things about me, before we get any further in this, like, hey, I have these issues. But at the same time, I'm afraid to bring up like, I have these issues because I don't want them thinking that I'm crazy. But they're gonna think I'm crazy if I act on these issues, so then it's just like, what? So that was a mouthful of words, essentially. I don't know. I'm like, people think, like even people with like who are newly diagnosed until you actually like learn later on. But people think they know about PTSD, people think they know about depression, bipolar, all of like these things. They think they know. I thought I knew. But like, you don't actually know until the shit hits the fan. And like, my life is a lot better than it was a year ago, but it's not fixed, it's not perfect. I'm still dealing with a whole bunch of bullshit that's external to my mood. Like, I'm fixing my life, which is why I think that I'm not fully ready for a relationship right now, or at least to bring someone into that chaos. But when you're this close already, it's like, it's hard to hide something that's bothering me. Like, they're gonna clearly see it. If I can't sleep at night, regardless if that's mania or trauma, or if something upsets me, or if something like makes me feel some type of way, it's hard to hide that. So I feel like I'm hiding something, especially when they're the one person I want to talk to about it, or like they're the one person that I want to share these things with because they're the person I'm talking to, they're the person that like helps me feel better. But like, how much do you share and at what point do you share it? Because I'm pretty sure my last few relationships, I just kind of like went off on one day. I was like, okay, we're gonna take this whole day and we're just gonna go through all my problems. Which was like not the way to go about it. So that's where I'm at. So they know a little bit, but like, they don't know like the crazy shit. So I have a feeling though it's gonna come out, and it's gonna come out not in the way that I wanted it to. It's gonna come out while I'm dealing with some stuff right in the moment, and it's gonna be like, we'll see. But yeah, it sucks having all of these things because all you want to do is live a normal life and like date people normally, not have to date people normally, and then also think about like, when do I tell them about my last psychosis episode? I don't know. But yeah, other than that, it's going great. I'm super happy. So I guess that's what matters right now. Anyway, y'all, peace out. Love y'all to pieces. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment, or like, share, comment, and then subscribe. It doesn't really matter. Just remember to do those and turn on the subscription notifications to find out when I'm uploading new videos. I'm gonna try to upload more this year because I looked at how many I uploaded last year and it was sad. Peace out.